Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel once again. So for today's video, I'm going to try out my first team in the Open Ultra League for season 15. And as you guys have already noticed that I was not a part of, might be for like some Ultra League battles or maybe Master League battle, but since I was mostly reliable on, or mostly I was trying out for Great League metas, so I am slowly now moving to Ultra League because I'm investing my dust on Ultra League Pokemon. So that is the reason I thought of trying out much more teams that give me a viable, wider chance to play in some more, some more battles in weeks where Ultra League and Master League is up. To which my first team that I'm going to use is going to be my Registeel over here, along with Giratina, which is actually the team, which is actually the mon I built for the last season's Fantasy Cup, and to which I have just built up my own Grassnode Cresselia, which is absolutely very strong for this meta as well. So the team over here is going to be with bulk and coverage alongside with safety and a more move consistency as well, because it's a well-rounded team and each Pokemon will be covering for each other's weakness over here. Because Registeel, Cresselia and Giratina is very bulky in this meta, and even if some of the mons like Obstagoon can look like a core breaker for this team, but it is not, because I have got so many move coverages like Focus Blast and Moon Blast to deal with that kind of core breakers that deals massive damage and can do out so good in that kind of core breaker situation as well. So this is the team that I thought of and I came up with, and this team was really good for me. So without further more delay, let's jump into the first battle and I pick up a lead of Jellicent. So let me just clear it with you guys that I was not too much a very big fan of Ultra League because it is so expensive and I have to invest so many dust over here. But nevertheless, I want to build some teams, but now I think it's time to move on with Ultra and Master League, because yeah, I have built almost all mons for Great League over here, and now I'm slowly moving towards Ultra League. To which now this matchups I faltered somehow, because yeah, Ultra League is kind of still I'm still playing for Ultra League, like it's very new for me. That is the reason. So I'll be now going for the first Zap Cannon over here after drawing out the first shield from my opponent's end, which is going to be Jellicent, and now I'll be letting this next Shadow Ball go through as well, to which I save up my shield over here, which is kind of good because now they will be going for the next move, which ends up being a Surf, and I did call it as well. To which now they comes out with their Shadow Charm Granbull over here, which is kind of threatening for my Giratina over here because they can farm me down, and from this kind of range I will be going for the next Shadow Sneak over here. Shadow Sneak does not put it out over here for this Granbull, and I can come back with my Cresselia, to which their final Pokemon is going to be really troublesome for me because it's going to be Trevenant, which actually core breaks my Registeel and Cresselia code over here. And since my Registeel is quite low, so it's kind of tough, and I did one more mistake over here because I went for the next Zap Cannon over here, which actually gets the shield, does get the attack drop, but nevertheless they can get so much farm onto this Registeel of my own, and they can have, might be they can go for two, like they first go for the first Seed Bomb, and to which now they comes back with their Jellicent, and I have to shield up. I could not farm down a Jellicent with Psycho Cut over here, so I have to go for the shield, which ends up being a Surf, which I could have survived, but nevertheless I could not take a call, and now they will be going for the next Shadow Ball onto my Crest, which will not be able to handle it, and they will be getting the win for the first battle, which is not a good start for me over here. Moving on to the next battle, I pick up a lead with Shadow Dragonite, which is kind of good, but I have to watch out for a potential double back-to-back superpowers over here. So now first I'll be going for my Zap Cannon over in this scenario, getting the first shield, which is really good, and I do get the attack drop as well, which is huge because now I can let this first Dragon Claw go through. like which I call it, but which might have ended up to be a superpower, which now I'll be shielding up, and now I think it's going to be a superpower, which lowers their attack even more. So now they are two times debuffed, and now I'll be going for the next Zap Cannon that does guarantees the shield and the defense, the attack drop as well, and now they can go for the next superpower. So even if they go for a superpower which is triple debuffed, will not knock me out, and they are going to get 2 times attack drop, right? Defense drop, which does take care of the Dragonite with the Zap Cannon, and now I'll be safe swapping into my own Cress, because I have got both the shields, which is huge, and now I can easily come back with my Cress, because I don't want their Empoleon to get a good farm onto my own Registeel, because Registeel, though it's quite low, it will be helpful in some kind of closing situations as well. So I preserve my Registeel over here and come back with my Cresselia to burn up their energy, which they will be going for the Hydro Cannon. And now I don't think I can reach to the next. Yeah, I do reach to one more Grass Knot over here that will be taking care of the Empoleon, and let's see what the final Pokemon is going to be. So it is going to be Lapras. So this is the reason I told that I will be shielding up my own, like I'll be saving up my Registeel, because it might be helpful in some kind of later scenarios, which is the case, because now they will be going for a Lapras, which actually goes for a Skull Bash to a Giratina. I'm not sure why they're going for actually going for like double resisted move onto a Giratina over here, but they might be able, like they will be trying to boost up their defense. I think that's the reason. But nevertheless, since Giratina is quite super bulky over here, I can actually handle 2 Skull Bash over here, apart from this Ice Shard damage over here. And now I'll be going for the next Dragon Claw for a bit of chip damage, and now I have to shield this move up. So I was actually preserving my shield and my Registeel for this reason, because I have to now go for one Focus Blast to take out the Lapras and take out the game over here with the timer really back up over here. Moving on to the next matchup, I pick up a lead against Cress, which is really good, because Cress does not have anything to throw at this Registeel. With the standard moveset they run is Moonblast and Grass Knot, with both are resisted. So they will be going for the first Moonblast over here that does not do a tickle to my Registeel, and that's how tanky Registeel is over here in this meta. So it does not, like super effective moves, maybe like Dynamic Punch, fighting moves, ground moves, does not even non-shot from a full health Registeel over here. So that's how bulky Registeel is. And now I'll be going for the next Zap Cannon over here, which does put the Cresselia quite low, and now I have to let this Moonblast go once again. Since I got the defense drop, I will be swapping out into my own Giratina, and now I'll be going for the next Dragon Claw over here. So Dragon Claw from this kind of range will be knocking out the Cress, and now they comes back with their own XL Fairy Wind Clefable over here, which is really nice to see it, because Clefable is kind of buffed up as well with Fairy Wind. And now they will be going for the first move, which ends up being Moonblast, which does hurt a lot, but it does not do enough damage to take me out. So now I'll be going for the next Shadow Sneak over here. That is kind of helpful, because now they will be getting a huge lot of farm, but not before I can go for one more Dragon Claw, which is resisted right now, but it puts into a really good farm down range for my own Cress over here, because though Psycho Cut is not that of a good damage prone move over here, but still they will be going for back-to-back one Moonblast and one Meteor Mash to take my Cresselia quite low, and the final Pokemon they have on the backline is kind of troublesome for me as well, which is going to be their own Talonflame over here. And this looks like to be, I think, again a really tough battle for me, because they have 2 shields in their name. So I did misplay it again over here, which is kind of getting textbook for me right now, so I have to play these matchups really well again in the upcoming matchups, because yeah, I don't see any win condition over here, because yeah, they will be going for the next flame charge that takes me out. They have one shield and I have my Cress onto their Talonflame, and I will be conceding the match out of respect over here. That is going to be a really good game. Moving on to the next matchup, I pick up a lead against Cress, and they safe swaps into their own Obstagoon. So Obstagoon looks to be a kind of core breaker for my whole team, but not before, because I have got my own Focus Blast from Registeel and Moonblast from Cresselia to deal out with this, to which they does not shield up the first Focus Blast coming from my Registeel over here, and it does one shot the Obstagoon over here, to which they comes back with their own Ampharos over here, and Ampharos is kind of again having a good coverage move as well, because Brutal Swing does hit for super effective to Cress and to my Giratina as well, but it is not that of a threatening matchup over here, to which now they safe swaps again into their own Cress. But since I am having energy lead and shield advantage as well, this is really advantageous for me. So they will be going for the next Moonblast that will actually hurt me quite a bit, but since I am a Cresselia, yeah, it does not matter too much, to which now again I catch a move onto my Registeel over here, which is going to be the Moonblast, which is really nice. And now I will be going for one move over here, and I might thought of shielding this, but since it's not going to be enough to get the knockout or put me in a farm down range, I let this go, and I go for the next Zap Cannon over here. So Zap Cannon from this kind of range onto a Cresselia puts it quite low, and they can farm me down over here with Volt Switches in this scenario. So I die with the move, even I was just one turn away for one Focus Blast over here, and now I'll be coming back with my Cress, going to survive one Brutal Swing over here, because yeah, it's Cresselia, and I'll be going for the CMP tie over here onto a Brutal Swing, which is huge, because Brutal Swing will take me out, and now I have a 2-shielded Giratina over here with onto Cress and Ampharos over here. So Brutal Swing will be hurting me quite a bit, 30% damage, but since I am quite bulky, so I'll let this first move go through, and I'll be going for the first Dragon Claw, and from this kind of range I will be going for the next Shadow Sneak, to which I think they concede the match over here. As you guys can see the pop-up of win battles, to which I get the win for the 4th battle here as well in the first set, which is kind of nice, and it's yeah, moderately good. To which, moving on to the 3rd battle, I pick up a lead against shiny Rayquaza with Breaking Swipe, which is huge spice, to which they safe swaps into their own Crest. So I'll be going for the first Zap Cannon to deal a bit of chip damage, and now I'll be shielding out, like swapping out into my own Giratina over here, because Giratina is kind of having a bad matchup with Rayquaza, so that is the reason I'll be swapping out. And now, since the attack is dropped, this will not do enough damage which it earlier have to do, so I can let this next move go through, but I cannot farm a Cresselia from that kind of health as well, which is quite troublesome and gruesome as well, which is a tough job. And now I have to go for one Dragon Claw to take it out, to which now they comes back with their own Rayquaza once again. So Rayquaza will not prefer to go the shields, will prefer to put up the shields onto this back-to-back Dragon Claw over here, because Rayquaza is quite squishy in this meta as well. They gave up both the shields over here, which is huge, because now I can easily come back with my Registeel and go for one Zap Cannon to take this Rayquaza out actually. But nonetheless, they can easily go for Breaking Swipe, which does debuff me twice over here. Now I am in a kind of dilemma that if I'll be going for one Zap Cannon, this might not be able to take it out, or maybe it is. So let's find it out, which it is not, and now I will be swapping out into my own Cress to get Iron Energy. So again they will be debuffing me with Breaking Swipe, but nevertheless I am Cress, so I can easily handle that, and to which the final Pokemon that they have access to is going to be Registeel. So Registeel onto Cresselia is a bad matchup, but I have my own Registeel with 2 shield advantage. So that's the win condition over here. And I think they will be recognizing that because I'll be going for back-to-back Moonblast that will be adding up bit by bit. It is not that it is quite of hefty damage, but it will be adding up bit by bit, which is helpful for me in any way, because now I can let this next move go through as well, which ends up being a Focus Blast, does not even take me out, and I'll be going for the next Moonblast over here. And now I'll be swapping out into my own Steel with 2 shield advantage. They recognize that and top lives the game over here because there is no win condition for them. So GG's. Moving into the next set, I pick up a lead against Obstagoon over here, which is again kind of tough, but I have to play this matchup around. So they will be going for this cross chops over here, which I can take all day long, but eventually I have to shield with third one because counter with 2 cross chops will be kind of adding up and putting me low over here. To which now I went for the first Focus Blast that does get the first shield from my opponent's end, which is huge because now I can survive 1 cross chop as well, and now I'll be going for the next Focus Blast over here, trying to get the final shield, which I do, and now I'll be switching out into my own Cress. So Cress is again quite super bulky, so I can handle this Night Slash all day long, and since my Cress is quite healthy, I can let this next Night Slash go through. And since they are fishing for the boost, so I saved up shield for this moment only, because now they will be dealing twice the damage with Night Slash over here, so that I have to shield up right now. So a double boosted Night Slash will be hurting me quite a lot, which might get the knockout as well, to which they swaps out perfectly into their final Pokemon, which ends up being Slurpuff over here. So Slurpuff is having access to Flamethrower, Play Rough, and I think Energy Ball, to which now they will not be able to farm down my Registeel with Charms over here, to which I'll be going for the next Focus Blast that hits for quite a bit of damage as well onto this Slurpuff. So I think this Slurpuff is actually running might be Play Rough, but they went for a Flamethrower, which does not even do me a tickle, and now I can easily go for a farm down. So whatever they are coming back in with, I have energy loaded up, and the final Pokemon that they have access to is going to be a Virizion, which is huge for me because they are actually running Leaf Blade or Stone Edge alongside Sacred Sword, which my Giratina can handle all day long. So I'll be going for back-to-back Dragon Claws and snipe them with my Moonblast onto my Crest that actually put it really low, and they went for the next move, which will be, I think, will be a Sacred Sword or Leaf Blade that does take me out. And now this kind of range, I have to let this next move go through because I can survive 1 Night Slash, which I think they thought I'll shield up. They did not bubble, and now they actually need 2 Night Slash to take me out over here. But nevertheless, 1 Dragon Claw puts it quite low, and I can reach to the next Dragon Claw just in time, but not before they can go for 1 Night Slash. So I'll be shielding up the next Night Slash, going for the next Dragon Claw, which will take care of the Obstagoon, getting the win for this battle here as well, because they have a very low Virizion that gets down to Shadow Claw, getting the win for this battle here as well. Moving to the next matchup, I pick up a tough lead over here with Virizion, and to which I will be safe swapping into my own Cress. For Cress, they built up quite energy with Virizion as well, and they safe swap into a Shadow Drapion over here, which is kind of a tough answer as well for me because it's totally hard countered in the front, hard countered in the back as well. So now I'll be going for the next Moonblast. So Moonblast does quite a bit of neutral damage, and I do get the shield over here. So I should have went for one Moonblast followed by a Grass Knot and then again a Moonblast. So to which now I thought of going for the next move, which I lose CMP against, which is quite heartbreaking because the shadowed bonus damage from Drapion's Crunch will take my Cresselia out, and now I am in a tough situation right away because I cannot farm down with Registeel because I have to go for a move eventually. To which now I have to let this Crunch go through, and again they got the defense drop over here, which is kind of kind of textbook over here, because every time they are getting the defense drop, and now to which I save swaps into my final Pokemon, which is going to be my Giratina, to which they have an answer for that as well, which is going to be their Tapu Fini. And since this battle is kind of hard countered over here from the front to the end and the closure, this looks like to be a wrap-up game for me, because even though I can try for back-to-back shadow sneaks over here, it will not put the Tapu Fini quite low so that I can farm down, or they can let this next charge move go through as well. And they have got a full health Virizion over here with a shield advantage as well onto my Registeel, which is kind of very tough because Registeel does not have anything to throw right now. But I can handle one Sacred Sword in this scenario, but they have got multiple Sacred Swords stored up right away. So I will let this next charge move go through as well, and on this kind of range I'll just quit out of respect over here, because I don't have any win condition right now. So moving on to the next matchup, I pick up a lead against Empoleon, which is kind of really nice for me because it's a good lead, because both my charge move actually does take out one Empoleon from full health, which is huge, because now I'll be trying to get a bit of extra energy, and now I'll be going for the first Focus Blast over here. So Focus Blast does get the shield, and from this kind of range I will be going for the next shield, because if I let this Hydro Cannon go through, they will be able to farm me down over here. So the switch I don't want, and I'll be going for the next Zap Cannon over here. So Zap Cannon, they got the Zap Cannon onto their own Swampert over here, which is really awesome for them, because it's a ton of damage, ton of energy wasted onto my Registeel over here. So now I can let this next Hydro Cannon go through as well, because Cresselia can tank it like a champ, and to which I'll be doubling up onto this Grass Knots over here. So I'll be going for the first Grass Knot that does get the shield, and I'll be able to reach the next Grass Knot as well over here that takes out the Swampert as well, which is good because now I'm in alignment with my own Cress and Empoleon over here. But Empoleon, since it's part water and steel, it takes neutral from this Grass Knots as well. From this kind of range, again they will be trying to farm me down, which they will do, and now they have got a kind of good energy advantage over here. But nevertheless, I have got such a good answer to this Empoleon as well, which is going to be my own Giratina, and since the final Pokemon that they have got access to is going to be a Togekiss that just got wrecked by a Zap Cannon, and to which they can farm my Registeel down, but I'm not in a trouble situation right now, because I have got a full health Giratina over here that can go for the next Shadow Snake to take out the Empoleon and get the game for this battle here as well, which is huge. And yeah, it's kind of a boost for me over here. Moving to the next matchup, I pick up a lead against Galf, which is kind of a tricky lead because they can go for neutral damage with discharges, and they will be eventually debuffing me with lunges, which I don't have any problem tanking, but since my attack will be dropped quite a bit, so I have to go for back-to-back moves over here to take it out, or maybe get a farm down. To which now they will be going for back-to-back lunge, and if you can see, this volt switches and lunge do add up on our Registeel as well. To which now, since they went for a cross poison, I will be switching out into my Giratina, because my Registeel's attack is twice debuffed that time. So to which I'll be going for the next back-to-back Dragon Claws over here, because they came out with their own Credent, which is actually not a good matchup because they have access to Crunch that hits me for quite a bit of damage as well. But it is Giratina, so it can take in multiple crunches over here all day long, and I can go for this neutral Dragon Claws over here to put this Credent quite low as well. To which now I'll be switching out into my own Registeel, and snipe them down with a focus blast that gets the final shield of my opponent as well, which is huge because now they swap out into their own Shadow Swampert, which is not able to take me out, but one mud shot does take me out and I die with the move over here. But nevertheless, since both the shields are down, my Cresselia can handle Swampert any day long, but I have to shield up this next move, which I thought might be a Shadow Earthquake, which I let it go, and now from this kind of range I will be undercharging the next Grass Knot, getting so much energy with my Cresselia, which is huge because now though they comes back with their own Gradient, which is quite tanky, so I'll be going for the first Grass Knot, and now I can let this next Crunch go through as well, because Crunch from a non-stab attack defense rated Pokemon like Gradient does not threatens my Cress, to which now I'll be going for the next Grass Knot onto this Galvantula over here, which goes for the lunge onto my Giratina, and I can easily go for the farm down over here, which is huge because now though I am having quite a bit of like low health on my Cress, but I have hold on to one shield, which I let this next charge move go through as well, and it was just a body slam, to which now I can go for the next Moonblast that does enough damage to take out this Gradient and get the win for the second last battle here as well. Moving into the final battle of the video and the set. So it's been quite a long video, already 25 minutes into the video as well, so it's quite a long video after a long time, so thanks for hanging out with me. And now I pick up a lead of Obstagoon once again. So Obstagoon lead, as I've already mentioned, it's kind of tough, but it's not totally core breaking or unplayable over here, to which now I can let this next cross chop go through once again, because yeah, I thought it's going to be a cross chop, but they are actually going for back-to-back obstructs over here, so I'll be going for the next focus blast. So even with obstruct boost up, one focus blast does take care of Obstagoon, to which now I'll be going for to swap out into my own Cress over here, to which now they swaps out into their own Clefable over here, which is kind of good because I don't want my Giratina to face up this Clefable over here, which is huge because and as they're actually running Charm as well, it's not fair event, so it's quite good that I switch out into my own Cress as this like, to which they switch out into their own Clefable over here. So I have to shield this next move up, which ends up being a Meteor Mash, so would have done quite a bit of damage, and now from this kind of range I can go for one Grass Knot, might take out the Cresselia or draw out the first like final shield, and to which now I can easily switch out into my own Registeel, which ends up farming down the Clefable as well, to which now they have to throw up the next Night Slash that does take out my Obstagoon, like that does take out my Registeel over here, to which now I have to go for the next Moonblast. So Moonblast coming from a Cress does not one-shot Obstagoon from full health, so they will have to go for the next Night Slash over here. So I will be shielding up the next move, and now they cannot farm me down with counters over here. So now I'll be going for the next Grass Knot to take care of the Obstagoon, and the final Pokemon that they have access to is going to be a Talonflame, which is huge because now I do have a counter to Talonflame as well, because Giratina is kind of bulky and does have access to Shadow Claws and Dragon Claw, which does add up really quickly onto this Talonflame over here. So if they have to win up this game, they have to go for one Flame Charge and then one Brave Bird, which is not the case because as the Incinerate was coming in, so I went for the next Dragon Claw, to which they comes back with their Obstagoon and they went for the next move. So one Night Slash will be taking out my Giratina over here, but now I'll be coming back with my Cress, going for Psycho Cut down onto a double resisted Obstagoon over here, getting the win for the final battle here as well. So GG's. So this team was quite a lot of fun because it have so many coverages for this meta. It have got bulk and a good consistency as well. So if you're trying out this team, do let me know how it is working out for you, and that will be all for this video. If you're liking the content on this channel, do let me know. Share with your friends, like and subscribe. That supports and helps me out a lot. So thanks for hanging out with me. See you again in the next one. Till then, peace.